Hi friends, and welcome to another episode of Health and Wealth with me, Kelvin Malunga, and my friend
Cecilia Perry. I would say I am an advocate for using the internet to learn.
Yep. I just have to keep learning. We struggle a lot of things that are only opportunities for us to learn.
I also want to put out that message this year to say, let's not compete with each other.
Yeah.
Let's compete with the person that we were in 2024.
Yeah. I think it also comes from a place of like curiosity of yourself personally, to notice the deficiencies that you have. Hi friends, and welcome to another episode of Health and Wealth with me, Kelvin Malunga, and my friend
Cecilia Perry. And remember, this is where we discuss inspiring conversations from real experiences. And we want you, our friends, to join us today as we embark into another interesting yet very helpful conversation.
Yes, and we want you to subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification button so that you're reminded every time when we post something.
Exactly. And remember to share this video to your friends and family, whomever you think can benefit from the conversation today. Please make sure you share them this, because trust me, the minutes that you'll spend here today are worthwhile.
They will change your life. And we just want to thank you for joining us also in this week's episode.
Exactly. You have been there, and you are taking this journey together with us. And this is what we want. We want, as we succeed together as friends, as a community.
As a community.
This is what we are for.
And today we have an interesting topic that we want us to discuss on this table. Cecilia, you want to tell us what we're discussing today?
Yes. But before I go straight into our main topic today, I just want to remind everybody there, because this is the thought that we usually have, thinking that success is for certain people. Success is for people that are lucky, or success is for people that are naturally talented, But I want to remind everybody, and as we're discussing this today, Kelvin, I want us to make sure that we remember that no, success is not all about that, but it requires what I call the 3 learning skills.
3 learning skills. Man sharing, what is that?
Yeah, so first of all, number 1 is learning itself.
Okay.
Number 2 is unlearning.
Unlearning.
Yes. Okay. And number 3 is relearning.
Okay.
So you need to be able to learn, to get knowledge on a lot of things. Number 2, you need to be able to take away some things that you already know, maybe misinformation that you've always had, from maybe from childhood or the way you grew up. And also you need to be able to relearn. There's some things that we were taught, and as we were growing up, we forgot them, or we disregarded them because we thought they don't make sense to us. But as you grow up, you start realizing that actually some things that I knew, made my life easier and better than now. So learn, unlearn, relearn.
Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting place to start. And today, like I said, the interesting topic that we're talking about is self-learning.
Self-learning.
Yes.
And when we're talking about self-learning, it's how you can teach yourself. And I think in this era that we live in the modern era, you don't have an excuse to not learn. You don't have a reason to not teach yourself. Because there's a lot of information.
A lot of resources, actually.
There's a lot that you can't even consume it all.
And then I think the question that I'm always battling with is like, where do you start now in an ocean of so many information?
Where do you start?
Yeah.
I think the first thing, and Trust me, I don't want Calvin to laugh about this because I am about to mention the same thing I do mention. You have to have a goal.
Okay.
You have to have the learning goal. What do you want to learn?
Yes.
And why do you want to learn that thing? And how long are you giving yourself to learn?
Okay.
You know? And when that clarity is there, it's so easy to go anywhere and start searching for information. Because remember, this is self-learning. You want to teach yourself, which means you are at liberty to go and go and find information from so many spaces that you can look into. And this is very important for you to know the exact thing that you want to learn. For example, in the past 6 months, I've been trying to learn data analysis.
Yeah.
But if I just go, which I usually use YouTube, so if I just go on YouTube and search data analysis, there's going to be a lot that will come.
A lot.
That's where that specific goal becomes so important, because you have to state what kind of data analysis you want to do, using what platform, what kind of data do you have. So you have that, and you're looking at learning data analysis using Stata. Okay.
You're beginning to specify.
Now you begin to specify, and it becomes so easy.
It becomes so easy, and it's following the same track as making smart goals.
Exactly, the goal discussion that we had when we are beginning, that you need to be so specific, and it becomes so clear for you to look for things that you're looking for when you know what you're looking for. You know.
Yeah, and I also what I like about self-learning, and especially when I go online on YouTube to look for something, there's like plenty of results. And I always know that it will take me time for me to really find something that works.
Yes.
I will waste time on these videos that begin like they were going to teach me something, but I will not learn anything at the end of the day. And I always have to be ready to some of them will not be helpful, but I will keep looking and searching until I find something that resonates with me or that appeals to the way I learn something.
I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind, especially when you're going for self-learning, because it's not direct. The way you would be taught in class or by a teacher, because remember, when a teacher is coming to class, they have already done this filtering for you.
Yeah, they've already done it.
There's all those teaching objectives that they have. They look into that, they go into books, they go online and search all this information, package it for yourself, for you, and then when they're bringing it, already like that.
Yeah, it's already like that.
And this is why it's another important thing to also put it out there that self-learning, in as much as I think in the lifelong learning, it contributes to almost 90% of the things that you can learn and what you should learn. But it's not a substitute of formal education.
Okay.
It's not.
Also, you're not telling people to drop out of school.
No, please do not. Please do not get that degree. Get that certification. It will help you in other realms. But you know what? What school can't teach you is there for you. And this is what we're trying to share with you, that don't restrict yourself to how much you can learn or how much you can know, because knowledge is out there. And I think as two teachers, we have benefited a lot from self-learning.
Exactly.
Because we were just discussing this when we were coming, that as a teacher, there's a lot of self-learning that happens.
All the time.
Because before you go to class, you have to teach yourself first.
You have to teach yourself.
And if you fail to teach yourself, then you can't teach other people. So you have to go and look for materials and filter them and, get all that information.
And I think that's what makes us good teachers, because like we were discussing that before we go to a class, we're always asking ourselves, what do I know personally? How can I teach this thing? And second, you ask yourself, like, what are the books saying?
Yeah.
And then you search online, what is YouTube saying?
Yeah,
And then we
yeah.
go ask other teachers, well, how do you think you can teach this one?
Exactly.
And I think it's the same thing it's the same process that you go through when you're teaching yourself something. For example, you want to start learning how to cook mandasi.
Yeah.
You ask yourself, what do I know already?
Yeah.
And then you search what other people are cooking.
Yes,
And
yes.
then you're like, okay, maybe if I add this and I add this. So it's a whole point we're trying to bring across is that you learn from different teachers. And we are surrounded by so many teachers, and
Yes.
the biggest one being the internet right now.
Yeah. Exactly. That's so true. And I think I would say I am an advocate for using the internet to learn. And I'm saying this because right now it has come to a point where we are taking social media and the internet as the criminal. You know, when you think about somebody being on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, all you're thinking about is all the bad things that somebody can do there.
True.
And then because of that, we are not thinking of all the important things that you can also learn, which when I look at it, there's more important things on the internet than evil things.
I'm telling you.
How many scams come to you, and how many, good videos come to you?
Come to you, true.
But we personally make the decision to change our algorithm to suit us, so that the only videos that are coming to your algorithm are dancing videos.
Yes.
And if that happens, it's you. It's not the
a
internet.
coincidence.
No, it's just feeding you what you want,
What you want,
because
exactly.
it learns from you. The algorithms learn from you.
Exactly.
So we want to change that mindset. We want to try and say, you know what? You have everything that you need. Be it if you want to learn academic content, be it that you want to take a certain course, be it that you want to add a certification, or even that you want to start a business.
Exactly.
There's so much content out there that if you go looking for it, the internet is going to feed you.
Gonna feed you with that.
Yes.
And that brings me to another point that I wanted to discuss with you. So look, it's not you try to copy from others, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that everyone should understand is that you cannot entirely copy them exactly the way they are.
No, you cannot.
So you are using the knowledge that you have, and you're using your personality, you're using the people that surround you, you're using your context in Malawi. It becomes something unique. And I know people are out there looking for unique ideas.
Yes.
But the thing is, you won't necessarily find a unique idea right away. You find it by copying what others have done. And
Exactly.
you literally fail to copy it exactly the way you see it on the internet. And in that way, it becomes unique.
Exactly.
Because you have failed to copy it. I cannot be you, Cecilia. I cannot teach like you. But if I try to teach like you, I try to teach like another friend of ours, I try to learn from the internet, I am in the process of creating something unique. And people will wonder, how did you come up with that? And I should be honest with you guys. So many things that I've done in life that people think, oh, this is out of the blues. No, it's not. It's a combination of the work of others.
Yeah.
And it's a way, as a researcher, I think you know more about.
Oh, yeah.
that, yeah.
You just reminded me a TED Talk that I was watching this other day.
Yeah.
And one of the messages that I took from that was, to try is to learn.
To try is to learn.
Yes.
Oh my God.
To try is to learn.
That's powerful.
So
That's
you will
powerful.
not learn if you don't try.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, you can listen to as many podcasts, you can watch as many videos, or you can read as many blogs. But if you don't try, you don't learn. Because how do you know that you can actually do it if you're just reading how to code and you're not coding?
Wow.
You're just reading how to play a guitar and you're not playing.
You're just reading how to start a business.
Yes,
But you're not
starting. So to try is to learn. And coming to your point, I was just thinking about it to say, there's so much information out there that it is frustrating.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
It is so overwhelming that, you're like, and the point that Calvin was raising to say, especially for researchers, I think people that are researchers right now can agree with me to say, as a researcher, you don't want all the information to be there. Because you want to find a research gap. You want to find something that has never been done before to come in with uniqueness. And trust me, these days that is so difficult.
That is so
you think about this cutting edge research idea. You go on the internet and you find out that some guy did it in 1941. 1941.
It's actually a difficult time to be alive, where everything has already been made.
Everything has already been made. So it goes back to the point that you were making to say, all you can do now is to learn from other people and build your own uniqueness from that. That's all we can do, and it's so easy to do that. Exactly. But we always, especially here in Malawi, we're always worried that other people are doing our businesses. No, they are not.
When I started my business, the kind of comments that I got on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, someone is finally doing what I wanted to do. Or someone is living my dream life.
Yeah.
Or someone is, finally.
But that's not true. Nobody can do as you can.
No one can
even if you can learn from the same. You and I learned from the same classroom.
Exactly.
We didn't come out with the same knowledge.
We did not.
We did not.
And I remember it also brings me to a conversation I had with someone. Someone was telling me that expand your business as fast as you can. Because since you've started it, other people are watching you and they are going to do it in other places. And then I told him that they cannot do it like the way I can do it.
No.
They cannot execute it in the way that I can execute it.
They will do it in
that way. I have
way.
no time to worry about the competition in this world.
Yep.
I have no time to worry about people having the same degree as I have.
Yep.
I have no time to worry about people, reading the same books as I have. Because literally what I would do with that information, how I would digest it, is going to be completely different. Yeah.
And to me, as I keep saying, being a teacher has completely changed how I look at things. As teachers, we love when our students do what we do.
Yeah.
Even when it's, you find out that somebody is copying even the way you speak. It's funny, but it says something about you. And it should also go to businesses. If people come into your business and learn from your business, you're doing something good.
You're doing something good. Exactly.
And you should applaud yourself for that. Yeah. People will not come to copy you or to learn from you if you're not doing a good thing.
Yeah.
No,
that's true.
You must be doing a good job. So, as we were talking about self-learning, that there are so many spaces where you can learn from, including interactions like this. Go sit down with your friends and have conversations and hear each other out. Like come up with all the sorts of business ideas and end with one to say, okay, can we do this, or can you do this and I do this? Like read books. If you want to start a business, go business. There are so many entrepreneurship books. There are so many books that were written on business. If it's academic content, then that's not even a story. There are a million resources that are there.
And also, I was reading something this morning, and it's a book. It's called "Still Like an Artist." So they mentioned something like, today, no one really cares about the mistakes that you will make. Because you, for example, you haven't made a name for yourself yet. You're different from someone who has already written a book and people are expecting something. Like no one is out there expecting you to be so good. It sounded a bit rude and stuff, but man, it was the truth. So you have the right to make all the mistakes that you can do. And to counter that, the book was saying you have to copy from multiple sources. If I just copy what you're doing, people are going to say, oh, you're the next Cecilia Piri.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
you're the next Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You're the next Saus Chilima. But
you have to be the first.
you have to be the first you, and the way you can be the first you is to learn from Saus Chilima, learn from Steve Jobs, learn from Bill Gates, learn from Nelson Mandela. All that combination,
Build something
build
new.
something. It's like the way when you are writing, for example, a thesis or an academic work. If you just copy exactly like what someone else is doing, it's going to be plagiarism.
It's not unique.
It's not unique, but the moment you take from this source, it becomes something that is respected, that is well written and well appreciated.
That's so true. So all this discussion, what I'm taking from it should tell us that self-learning is very important.
Very important.
And one thing is, it is broad. It has a broad approach where you can learn from multiple sources. You're not restricted like you are in other methodologies. And learning itself, the way I look at it, it's not a one size fits all. It's not. But if you look at the way we approach it in a formal education, this is what we do. 100 students sitting in one class being taught using a lecture by one teacher. But when you're self-learning, you know yourself. You know how you can learn. You know what distracts you. You know what puts you back in focus. You know the pace that you can take to learn. So it's very important. Like, I would advise everybody to go into self-learning. When you get out of that classroom, go and self-learn, see how it's different when you got the same information in class and how you can do it on your own. When you read about, for example, somebody is telling you about business, go and read about it and see how, if you just hear from somebody, how is it different from getting it from a book? And it's very, very important for a lifelong learning, because self-learning doesn't have a limit.
It doesn't have a limit and age as well.
No, you can only be in the university system for like 4 to 6 years. It ends there. You get your degree, you're out. You go again for a year, you get your master's, you're out. You go again for your PhD, you're there 4 or 5 years, you're out. It has a limit. Self-learning doesn't even matter where you are. You can be in a minibus. And be listening to a podcast.
True.
It doesn't matter where you are. You can be in your village. You can actually be in the field. And learning. So it doesn't care about the setting. It doesn't care your age. Self-learning is so important because it's a lifelong learning, and it's not restrictive.
It's not restrictive at all.
Yes, I did science. I studied science. But if you go on my algorithm, for example, in YouTube, you'll be surprised the things that I listen to, like completely out of my what I studied, completely out of what you would think I would be listening to.
And you know what I like a lot? I think to get to a place where you are self-learning, you're in a position to learn, to teach yourself. I think it also comes from a place of like curiosity of yourself personally, to notice the deficiencies that you have. Like, I know I am not so good with time. I have to go and learn how to be to arrive in time and stuff like that. I know falling short in interviews. I'm now learning how to present myself in an interview. I'm not planning to go to an interview, but this week I've been focusing on how do you behave in an interview, how do you sit down in an interview, things like that. And it's not only self-curiosity, but also curiosity of your world, the world around you. Someone would ask like, but why don't we have fuel in Malawi? What's really happening at the very bottom of it? Why are we struggling to have fuel in our filling stations. It's just a curiosity of the world around you.
Yeah.
Why is it like, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, you see a kid walking in the street, I want to go to Sana Video School. Be curious. Why is this kid not going?
Yeah.
Ask right questions.
Yeah.
Ask proper questions. And I think from there you begin to learn so much about yourself and the world around you.
Exactly. And you're making very right points right there, Calvin, because it takes us to the point that when it comes to self-learning, there's just too much. One time, I was struggling. So we were doing some research and we were in the field, and when you have that change, you're coming from the office, you're in the field, now it's a whole team, like over 50 people together, and a lot of changes. When a lot of changes happen at one time, there's a lot also that goes into your head. And so I remember my mentor at that time, when I was discussing with him my experience at the field that time. So he was telling me something that right now I hold so dear. He said, IQ.
Yes.
Most of us think we are measured on IQ, and our progress and success is dependent on IQ alone. And he said, which is not true. Your success is going to be dependent on your IQ plus your EQ, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. So
what is emotional intelligence?
So IQ, we talk about how sharp you are in doing things and all that. While emotional intelligence, you're talking about people that are able to adapt so quickly to situations, being able to read the room, being able to learn fast, being able to just learn the environment. And I'm bringing this up as you're saying, when you see things out there, what curiosities come to you? Are you actually curious about your environment? And that's what drives your growth. That's what drives your learning. I'll give you an example. When I go for my morning walks, so when I reach Blantyre town, I usually stop for like 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm not stopping to take a breath, because I'm just walking, so I'm not out of my breath or something. But I stop to look around. So I'm usually in town at like 4:40, 20 minutes to 5, I'm in town. And I just stand and look around. What are people doing? What is happening? What is missing? And what is there at that time? This has also helped me a lot to just be still, be quiet, give yourself time to look around the world around you and just hear it out. It has helped me to even come up with business ideas that I've written down, because that's when you can learn a lot in the environment that you live in. How are people walking? How are people commuting from one place to another? What do people talk about in the morning? What is missing? So dependent on the things that you like, the things that you're inclined to, it also helps you to actually come up with so many business ideas. I know you and I are always pushing people, everybody out there, to actually have a passion which you can draw business ideas from. For myself, it's teaching. And I've actually brought up a business from the actual teaching, and other business ideas that I'm yet to implement that I keep writing every day come from the world around me.
Yeah, from the world around you.
The learning, the self-learning that I do each and every day. But trust me, when I was leaving college, I didn't come out with a business idea. No, all everything that has ended up happening has been like that because of self-learning. You push yourself to learn things and you become that. And this just takes me to what I want to hear from you. Because, academic stuff are one thing. And it's going to be different from a person to person. You and I studied education to teach, and we teach.
We teach, yes.
And we have actually, built businesses around teaching.
That. Yes.
But I want us to also talk about one other thing that we've also tried to do, which is to go out of your comfort zone and to learn completely something new and build something from that. Because I think those are very good examples for self-learning that can actually result into something. I'm sure our friends out there would like to hear that it's so easy for you to self-teach yourself something and end up into being a real big thing. We have examples of people that are self-taught. Elon Musk is an example of a self-taught. We have Napoleon here in Malawi, self-taught a farmer who has become a billionaire.
Exactly.
So what is one thing that you can share with us that you've actually self-taught yourself and has resulted into something big?
Well, I am still learning how to be a business person. So far, I have been able to build a business from knowledge that I am teaching myself. And when I say teaching myself, I mean from different sources. So I'm talking about people that are already doing business. And I'm also talking about books. I'm also talking about YouTube. I'm talking about the internet. So I am still learning, like, how do you create a startup? How do you grow a business? I'm still learning about it, and these days I am now in conversations with people that are business people, completely out of my discipline. I am learning as much as possible from them, and I also now I'm beginning to have something to say about business. When I am actually taught to be a classroom teacher, but from that curiosity of business, I am becoming a businessman. And at the point I can even describe myself as one. And that's one thing that I have taught myself.
So this is one point that I want to put out there to say that there isn't anything that you cannot self-teach yourself.
Exactly.
The possibilities are endless. You can literally start anything right now, be it a business, be it even academic content. We want you to come out of a classroom and go back to your hostel and start teaching yourself more. And trust me, I think you're going to benefit more than what a teacher can tell you in an hour. Because you have more time. You can take your own pace. You can go into multiple sources to find something that you're really looking at until you find that suitable way that can fit into your schedule. And mental ability on how you can process your information. So self-learning becomes so easy because you know yourself better than your teacher. You know yourself, you know what you want, you know how you want it to be done and all that. So I encourage each one of us, please, this year we have to self-teach it ourselves as much as we can.
As much as we can.
Yeah.
And it makes you a better friend because you have something to share. You have a value to add to your friends as well, to your family. And like we are talking about, it also becomes profitable. You begin to learn skills that can generate you income by the end of the month.
Exactly.
And I just also want to talk about the sources. Like, where do you get this information? Really, like, where do you exactly begin?
Yeah.
And I think for me, where I always begin is to studying people. I will study you, but not only you, but I want to know where you're getting your information from.
Yeah.
What books are you reading? I remember my sister has actually transformed a lot from reading. So she has a schedule where instead of scrolling on Facebook and Instagram like random, like blind scrolling like we mostly do, she has developed a habit where she's reading. So it's like reading in weird places, like just weird places where people would normally take a phone. She's reading. And I've been curious because it has changed her, the way she approaches life, the way she holds herself, the way she shows up. So I have been sneaking into her library and borrowing what is she reading, because it's certainly changing the way she's living life, the way she's showing up. So I'm taking books from her, like, okay, let me read this book, So I'm not only learning her, the way she's acting, but where she's getting her sources as well. And when I found out, she's learning from this person, I also want to know that person. I also want to understand that person. So I'm not only learning their behavior, but also the sources of their behavior. You understand? And I am also trying to learn from to look at what I have right now. Who do I have? My parents have such rich information about Malawi. My dad is really good with Miambi and Magwero Miambi, and I'm learning such a lot of history from him. There's just such kind of things we take for granted, but they are actually sources of so much information. They are our neighbors, our friends, people who we can learn so much from.
Oh yeah, that's so true. And what I'm getting from you is that we have sources all around us. And the first thing that you have to do is to know what you want to learn. And when you now know what you want to learn, find people that are doing the same thing. As we already said, there isn't anything unique right now. The unique things that nobody has ever done, not really.
And if there ever comes something unique, it will be a combination of
different other things that have already been done. Yes. So I'm getting from you to say, now find those people that are already doing what you want or have done before, and then learn how they started and what, if they are continuing, what they do to achieve that.
Exactly.
So that's one approach that you can take. And so other sources that I use myself are videos and podcasts. I think there's a lot of other information that I have gotten from other people's podcasts. Even the ideas that I've come up with to end up developing how this podcast should go. You learn from other people. I have learned the gaps that existed in other podcasts that are already have been running for years. I've looked at how people are presenting the information. I put in time. Even on my calendar, I actually have an hour where I'm just watching a podcast. And that has helped me not only to learn about developing a podcast, but also, trust me, podcasts are so rich in information that you wouldn't find most of the places.
And you know what, I'm sorry to cut you, but what I'm also learning from you is, you just start doing what you want to do. Like, we have just started this podcast, and by just starting, we have put ourselves in a position of self-learning.
Yes.
We are learning every week, and trust me, we are working so hard to improve this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for you to put yourself in positions where you generate new information, new culture, new traditions for yourself, and that's what I'm getting from you as well.
Exactly. Remember, to try is to learn.
Yes, my
So
favorite.
yes, so go out there and try. You can watch a million videos
Yes.
on how to bake a cake. But trust me, for those people that have actually started baking cakes, know that video is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to perfect it yourself as you go.
As you go.
But what we want you to do is to start.
To start.
To go out there and learn. Give yourself a chance to learn every day.
Yes.
Because you have an endless amount of resources and information that is out there ready to be, to be uptaken.
To be up there, and it's also endless potential. And one thing that I also want to warn people is, when you see someone learning something or trying something that you think you can do, you don't have to be so critical to them. Because you think you can go on YouTube and watch it, you don't have to underestimate the work they are putting in learning it.
Oh, please don't.
Yeah, I remember writing a book, and people were telling me that, you just took past papers from Maneb and you compiled them. They feel like they can also do it.
Yeah.
But trust me, it is a difficult task.
I remember it took you months and months.
Months and months to compile everything, to search for the information, to solve everything. And I just look at people who think it's an easy task, and I'm like, okay, they will stay in the thinking.
Yeah.
But I took the effort to actually write the book down.
Yeah.
And never underestimate what someone is doing because you think you know where you can find it or where they are learning it from.
Yeah.
Because to learn is not an easy thing.
No, it's not.
Appreciate everyone who is trying something. Yeah.
And remember, I always bring up the fact that as human beings, we're created to go for comfort.
Yes, yeah.
And learning takes you out of your comfort zone.
It absolutely does.
But one thing that we should know is almost 99% of the things that take you out of your comfort zone are important things.
Very important.
They push you to be a better person each and every day. And all of us should strive to become that. Strive to be 1% better than you were yesterday.
Yes.
And that will only happen if you're learning something new each and every day.
Yeah, when you're learning something new.
Let's be on a journey of learning.
Yeah. And you also know, what I like about also myself is that when I'm having difficulties in accomplishing something, it always gives me an opportunity to say there's something that I am yet to learn. And when I'm having either a difficulty in something, I'm having an obstacle, I'm like, what is it that I have to learn in order to overcome this? And also the other thing that I like to observe that puts me in a position of self-learning is when I am in places where I am feeling like I don't belong. It's called imposter syndrome, right? I'm feeling like, no, there's something. Those kind of places remind me that I'm exactly where I am supposed to be.
Yep.
I just have to keep learning.
It means that something is lacking.
Something is that, and I have to search for it. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me being where I am.
Yeah.
But it just means that there's something I have to constantly learn until it helps me accept that, Kelvin, you really are worth being in these spaces.
Yes.
You really are worth creating this podcast because look at the work you have put in learning how to present information, in learning how to talk on television, in learning how to speak with your friend on camera, and I think we struggle a lot with things that we struggle a lot with things that are only opportunities for us to learn.
So that's very true. And all these what we're saying is to present to you the benefits that are there on self-learning, because not only are you going to learn at your own pace, but you're also going to learn what you want to learn. Most of us in academic systems, in the formal academic system, have come to a point where we've asked ourselves a question to say, will what I'm learning right now take me to where I want to be?
Yes.
And that answer is a yes. But it's going to be a very bold yes if you consider self-learning, because as you are in the formal education, you also add in things that you want to learn. As I say, self-learning is important in such a way that you learn what you want to learn.
You want to learn, and there are other skills that you never go wrong with. For example, public speaking. You will never go wrong with learning how to speak in front of people. You will never go wrong with learning how to write.
Yes.
You will never go wrong with learning how to, for example, dress. You will never go wrong with that thing. And it's important that you learn this while you're in your formal education setting. Train yourself with these things as well. Yeah.
So it's very important that we keep self-teaching ourselves. If you think of anything that, or you observe other people doing, and it clicks in you that if I were able to do this, please go ahead and start learning that thing. Because self-learning not only provides you with knowledge, but it also, you also learn how to focus. You're more resilient, and you are able to explore your potential, because you now understand how far you can go. How many other things you can do other than what you just know how to do right now.
Yeah, and also I think you are assured of your own brilliance.
Yeah.
You get to have examples where you're like, I have learned this, and then I am capable of learning.
Exactly.
You are so much confident in you develop a confidence in yourself. Because you're like, I wasn't like this, I'm improving.
Yeah.
And those kind of improvements really help you a lot. And I just also wanted to ask you something. Where would one get resources to start this journey of self-learning?
Okay, I think that's a very good question. And I tell everybody to say, we all have resources. Actually, we have enough resources. Because, a good place to start is right where you are. So right now, with what you have, if you're able to watch this video, you have the resource, your phone. I'm telling you, that phone, that internet bundle, that Wi-Fi that you have, and you're able to go scrolling through the internet, being on social media, watching all those dancing videos, it means you have all the resources that you need to start self-learning. And remember, self-learning is going to be on anything: to start a business, to cook, to get a certification. You can go on LinkedIn, you can go on Coursera and start a new course. You can go on YouTube and watch how to bake a cake. You can go on Khan Academy or on YouTube to start learning physics, chemistry. You can learn anything, even how to pray. It's all there. So my friends, as we're leaving you today, we want you to get this message that to try is to learn. And we promise you that from today, we're teaching ourselves too to go and learn more, learn as much as we can. And we want you to join us in the lifelong learning, where every day you're curious about learning things. Every day you're telling yourself that you're capable of becoming the new person. You are in engineering right now. You can tell yourself that you can be the next medical doctor. You are a teacher right now, and trust me, you can own a bakery in next year. You are not limited. You know, you're not limited, and don't ever think that all these things have already been done by somebody else. You can only be better than yourself that was yesterday. Not other people. You're not competing with anybody.
Exactly.
You know, and I also want to put out that message this year to say, let's not compete with each other. Let's compete with the person that we were in 2024. You know, there's enough space in the universe for all of us to shine.
There is enough space in the universe for us to
Exactly,
shine.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for those kind words.
Thank you.
And I keep learning so much from you every day, and I want to thank you for always showing up to this podcast.
Thank you. I learn a lot from you too.
Yeah, and I also like to thank our friend Mark, who is in the background helping us with the camera.
The camera guy.
Yeah, and I think it's a very perfect place for us to stop
Exactly.
our episode today.
Yeah, I think today has been so wonderful. We have learned a lot, in as much as we believe that you watching us out there, you've also learned of the importance of self-learning and how it should be a lifelong experience where you're letting yourself to push your potential and see how much more can you learn each and every day. And as always, before we go, remember to subscribe, like this video, and also share to your friends and family everywhere. Everybody that you think can benefit from this video, please share them this video.
As for me and Cecilia, we will see you next week in our next episode.
Yay! Bye for now.
Bye.